Africa's Minister of Trade and Industry, Davies, has formally launched the fifth iteration of the Industrial Policy Action Plan. This will outline government's initiatives to fast-track economic transformation, spur job creation and industrialize the South African economy. Our reporter Tumisho Maganyele spoke to the minister to find out more about the importance of this plan.
IPAP is a different story. It's an industrial policy action plan. This is not a vision statement. This is not an argument for industrialization. This is an action plan. So the guts of it are different time-bound operations that have to be carried out by different entities, not just in the DTI but other parts of government. And we say that this needs to happen by this time. And we monitor that in regular monthly meetings in the department. We monitor the delivery on the key milestones that we've identified in the action plans. So that's what it is.
Minister, you mentioned that beneficiation is one of the key areas, but whereas before we had electricity prices to leverage off, what are we going to be doing in order to ensure that we still have the competitive advantage?
What we need to do now is to create a new competitive advantage, and I think that ourselves, along with the rest of the African continent, are beginning to discover that the industrial minerals that we produce is the basis of this. That we have, for example, platinum group metals. We're the world's largest producer of platinum group metals. Platinum group metals can be used to manufacture jewelry. They can be used to manufacture exhaust systems through catalytic converters. They can be used in the manufacture of fuel cells, which can power, for example, small power stations. So I think that what we need to do is we need to find the wherewithal to make sure that those kind of industrial activities come to South Africa. That means we need to ensure that there is a supply of the input on competitive terms inside South Africa, and that the other elements that are necessary to support the industrial activities based on that come into fruition as well. So in the course of this IPAP, we will be conducting some studies to identify that, to inform, I think, very much the work which has been done by our colleagues in the Department of Mineral Resources, and particularly the work that's been led by the Minister, Susan Shabangu, on amending the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Act, which will allow the Minister to make conditions for the mining of those materials, which also makes sure that there is available the kind of resources that we need to support industrial development.
What will be done in order to ensure that the infrastructure programs are properly implemented and monitored?
The infrastructure program is not only a major driver of industrial development, but also is the main counter-cyclical response of South Africa. So going ahead with the infrastructure program, investing in the infrastructure program, ensuring that that infrastructure program doesn't just leave us with the infrastructure, but also becomes a tool of industrial development is very fundamental. And so we are pleased with the work that's been done by the Presidential Infrastructure Coordination Commission. We've actually now identified, I think, the pipeline of infrastructure programs much more clearly, finding ways of addressing the challenges of the infrastructure rollout, and we're beginning to see those results. I think what we're saying is that we need to ensure that that infrastructure rollout continues to happen.
Can you tell us more about the special economic zones?
We have one form of special economic zones already existing in South Africa now. Those are the industrial development zones located around ports and focusing on export activities. But I think we've become aware that there are other possible special economic zones, even perhaps around particular product lines. And there's a bill before Parliament which will allow more broader kinds of special economic zones to be designated through an advisory process, but that provides the framework. So simultaneously with that, we've been working with the provinces to identify potential projects. We've got at least one per province now, and those are going through feasibility studies, so that hopefully when the bill has gone through, we will not be too far behind in starting to roll out some of the special economic zones.